And it's Hannah here. So every Monday, as mentioned, we'll start sharp at 5 p.m. And this week's topic, we'll talk about pension and retirement planning. And of course, it's been lots of clients, they're asking about pension and even like personal pension, or especially for business clients, the clients who run the small business, they are staging into auto-enrollment. And one of the questions they ask, what's the point of contributing the pension? So we're going to answer all these questions, and so hopefully you can take away some useful information. And today, again, we invite our expert here. So Aidan, just quickly introduce yourself and then what you do.
Thank you, Hannah. My name is Aidan Dow. I manage Aidan Dow Wealth Management, and I help people with all sorts of financial planning issues. A majority of that work is pension work.
Cool. So as mentioned, today's topic is about pension. So let's just get into it. Again, as mentioned, many of my clients, they are staging into the auto-enrollment.
Yes, yeah.
And like for their employees, one of the questions is, why am I replacing my paycheck, like 1% or whatever, the paycheck, into the pension, and then my paycheck, what I get, is actually smaller. So what's the point of contributing to pension, like for individuals? What would be the benefits?
Thank you for asking that, Hannah. Pensions are a very topical thing, and what the government is trying to do is to ensure that everybody has got plenty of options when they come to retire. So what the government doesn't want is that people rely on the state in retirement and don't have any money, aren't able to live the standard of living they're used to when they're working. So there's a real push and a real drive for people to look after themselves for their pensions, save early and save well while they're working, so that when they come to retire, their lifestyle isn't compromised. They can still do all the things they want and enjoy that fantastic period of their life when they retire. There's a real issue because people are living longer. So if you go back 60 years, 70 years, when you retired at 65, your life expectancy was 2 years. So you're expected to live for 2 years, and then that was you. Now, with better diets, better health, and better medical treatments, people are living a lot longer. So the average life expectancy when people reach retirement age at 65 is now it's 79. So it's dramatically changed, and as a result of that, action has to be taken. And one of those things is the government encouraging companies to provide a pension scheme and look after their employees, so the employees can look after themselves when they come to retire. For example, Hannah, I know you like travelling. You want to be able to continue to travel when you come to retire. If you don't save now for that, then your lifestyle will be compromised unless you've got savings.
Yeah, that's actually quite crucial because lots of people at the moment living paycheck by paycheck.
Yes.
Because they probably don't think about long-term thing, but then it's crucial because you spend everything, but then at the retirement, thanks for the like. So when it comes to retirement, you need to make sure you can still support yourself and support your lifestyle,
yes,
especially when you have all this free time. Really look at what your long-term goal and what you want the money to support you for, because you work so hard for entire life.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's quite crucial. So actually this auto-enrollment is just the government want to make sure the employers, they look after their employees.
That's right.
And it just reinforce people to save. Yep. It's just to look after ourselves, to save, because one of the famous things in financial world, how you can take care of yourself is pay yourself first. I think that's actually the automatic way of pay yourself first. Hi, Charles from Brussels. Nice to see you here. So yeah, it's crucial, pay yourself first, and then this auto-enrollment is just automatically. Before you get paid, you already saved.
Yeah.
So that's a very good thing. But of course, today we'll focus on individuals, like pension regarding individuals. That workplace pension is probably different slightly different subjects we can talk about in another session, but we focus on individuals.
Individuals, yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes to individuals, if they want to select a pension scheme for themselves, so how can they do that? What would be your suggestion?
I think most people, if they're working for a company, they will be attached to a workplace pension, and typically that is the first port of call. Look at what the company provides, and then, take it from there. If your company doesn't provide one, the chances are within the next 2 to 3 years they will. So look out for that. But there's no reason for you to not start saving for your pension right away. I would speak to an advisor. He can help you, or he or she can help you set up a very straightforward scheme, not very highly charged, but basically well charged, and get you some good investments within that. Now remember the great thing about pensions is you make a contribution. Any tax that you've paid, it gets taken back. So you get tax back on anything you've paid. If you're in a work scheme, very often your employer will match what you put in, or maybe not as much as that, but they will definitely make a contribution. So you've got two sort of supercharged ways of getting extra money for your retirement: the tax back from the government and your company making contributions on your behalf, which is absolutely fantastic. So if you think about that in terms of you going to a bank account, putting money into the bank account, you lean over to the counter and put in £100, and then over your shoulder somebody else will add in £20 or £40 because that's your tax back, and then somebody else will add in some money if that's your employer. They might add a little bit, maybe add £5. So what you've handed over is £100, and in your statement when you get your bank book back it says 145 or 150. It's fantastic. So yeah, or even 125 if you're a basic rate taxpayer. But it's really it's saving supercharged, and it really is great. So something to do.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, Mina, good to see you here. So yeah, that's great. Basically, well, of course, for individuals, if they have an employer to support, then that's fantastic. But then for the tax relief element, that's actually a good point, because especially for people who are self-employed,
yes,
they basically have no one to take care of. They have to take care of themselves.
Yes.
And also for the auto-enrollment, if you are one directed company, you are exempt for this duty. Or if you are director, actually you don't have to enroll yourself. That's current rule. But then for the personal pension point of view, I think the tax relief element is very valuable.
Very valuable. Very valuable.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, as we can see, it's so valuable to invest into the pension pot. So people also ask, because you suggested about like investments, all these things. If the money you put into your pension pot actually safe?
That's a good question. Most pension schemes and regulated pension schemes are protected by the pension regulator, so that adds extra safety to it. Also, you'd look at most pension companies are well-known companies, things like Standard Life, things like Royal London, but they are very big names, and that can again give security. But the key thing is that pensions are well protected from the pension regulator. So money invested there should be very secure.
Yeah. So that's actually give you some sort of certainty that the pension, what you actually like, where the money goes, and it's actually being protected. So that's a security side. So and also lots of people ask, because especially for our doctor clients,
yes,
because they used to have a very fantastic NHS pension. That's
right.
very, very good pension scheme. But at the moment, it's not as good as before. But people were thinking they are not interested in pension or any kind of pension at all. They are looking for investment property to fund their retirement. Yes. So what would be the pros and cons in terms of considering this?
Well, a lot of people like investment property because property is an asset that everybody can understand. It's quite simple. A lot of people own homes. They can relate, and they like to touch and feel their investment. They can see it as a property. So that's great, and I can understand why a lot of people like to invest in that way. But you can't hold residential property within a pension scheme. So you're missing out on the terrific opportunity of the tax relief, and not just the tax relief on the investment in the property, but also the ongoing tax relief, where inside the pension environment, you've got tax efficiency from capital gains tax and income tax, and also the sort of supercharge at the start where you get any tax back on any investment you make within the pension. So trying to break that down, it's like if you're buying a property, if you've got £60,000 and you're trying to buy an investment property, then if somebody said to you, there's another £40,000 as being a high rate taxpayer, buy a property at £100,000, you'd jump at that, wouldn't you? But you need to make the investment inside the pension to get that tax relief. So that's a real difference. And if you think how long it would take an investment property to go up 25-30%, whereas in a pension environment you get that upside overnight by making that investment.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, especially the tax relief, because for pension you get the tax relief element, as opposed to investment property, as we know from 1718, the kind of a tax relief you get on if you are buying like buy-to-let, then that's you don't have much tax relief anymore. So probably when it comes to considering whether or not you consider like property or pension, really look at this tax relief. Actually, like small things each year, like if you save small amount of tax each year, actually can build up, can mount up.
Huge! It's huge.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And also, if you look at the statistics on that, a 1% saving or 1% extra performance you can eke out of a pension, by the time you reach retirement, that can be 10% extra income in your retirement. So it's so crucial to make these tax efficient investments, get the investments in the right environment, in the right pot for you.
Yeah, that's crucial, especially that's for your retirement. It's of course you can have an investment if you are into the like more risky, more high reward thing. That's fine, but it's your like for the retirement. So really you need to think carefully, like consider carefully. So having said that, of course, that's a very hot topic when it comes to like investment property or pension. So that's very popular question at the moment from my client base. So when it comes to people actually the retirement planning as a whole, so what would be your advice for them?
Well, retirement planning, the earlier you start, the better. I'd make sure the investments you make are good ones. So I'd consult somebody, because it's always good to have an expert help you with some investment decisions. But the key things are start early and start regular and pay in regularly, and have a goal about what you want to achieve. Think about your lifestyle. Think about the things you really want to do in retirement as early as possible, and then see what level of income you think you'll need for that lifestyle. So the earlier you plan, the better.
Yeah, that's true. Like start early, and also very important thing what I find is when it comes to save money, you really need to know why you are saving it. Like because it actually give you good leverage. Like if you like later day in the future you want planning for like some big purchase or big life event or the holiday, like once in a lifetime holiday, then that's you can use it as a leverage as opposed to like short-term pleasure. So that's very good point. Apart from all these things, if anyone, do you have any sort of other suggestions, comments about the pension?
Something I didn't say there when you're asking about what people should do for pensions, I didn't mention the power of compounding. And you, as an accountant, will understand if you contribute early and you're building up a pot, and compound interest starts building up early. So it basically, for the first 10 to 15 years, the pot will grow slowly. But then as the pot grows more and compound interest kicks in, the last few years can really have a dramatic effect. It's worthwhile. I could show some charts about the power of compounding. And what happens is the earlier you start to contribute, even if it's a small amount, that really has a major benefit from compounding over the long term. So that's the key thing, is start early. and benefit from the compounding.
Yes, benefit from compounding. I think a lot of people heard about compounding impact. And also the other way, tax is also compounding. Because like, I
Yes,
think if you...
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
On
yeah.
on the downside,
Yeah,
the
so-
tax is compounding. Yeah, so that's a very good point. So
Yeah.
if you took effect, the positive compounding against the negative
Yeah.
compounding, that's a huge difference. Yeah, over the long
Yeah,
term.
yeah. So, of course, at the same time, you need to make a good investment decision and also make sure it's all tax efficient. So that's what it comes to. Like me as accountant, we do work hand in hand with a financial advisor
Yes.
to make sure like all these elements has been taken care of, and then yeah, you can enjoy your money. So yeah, finally, I think all my audience have been really nice today.
Yeah, very nice.
So
Yes.
finally, if anyone like considering like picking up your brain, like taking advice about pension or
Yes.
investment, or want to work with you,
Yeah.
what would be the best way to connect with you?
Well, I've got a website, aidandowwealthmanagement.com. I've also got a Facebook page, Aid Dow Wealth Management Limited. And yeah, and that's it. Or you can contact me through you as well. I'd be happy to speak to any of your clients that come through to you that way. That's perfect.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And also one quick note is Aiden is also in our exclusive Facebook group. So if you like to connect with Aiden, so be free to join the group. Just a request to join, and our experts are there. And Aiden will, of course, be able to help. And if you have any questions, because it's a closed group, anything you ask in the group, stay in the group. So it's not spread out. It's not publicly known by anyone. Okay, so I hope you find this session useful, and of course in the future we'll cover more about like the financial as a whole, not just from me, not just from like tax-wise. Of course, I will need to do my job, like take care of your tax, but then I will just in order to add more value, and we'll bring more and more experts in our Q&A Monday. And of course, if you do have any suggestions, any comments about how we can help you better, then be free to let me know. Okay, so thanks very much, and hope you have a nice evening and have a nice week ahead. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.